Hi, my name is Viktorija and I'm the NC president of EYP Sweden. And EYP Sweden is mainly funded by a state grant that we get from a ministry on youth and civil involvement. And the process of that is, at least right now, is that we have an employee that works with applying for the grant. Some requirements that the ministry has is that we have to have a certain geographical spread over Sweden. So we have to be represented at least in 5 regions of Sweden, which of course demanded of us to create regional boards and regional organizations within Sweden. Another requirement is that we have to have 1,000 new unique members every year. So of course that puts a lot of demand on us to have a big members recruitment every year. Except for that, it's a long process with applying for the grant. It's a 2-year process, so the members that we had, for example, for 2017 is the one that we are getting the grant from 2019. Apart from that, there's a big work on the reporting of the grant before and afterwards we get it. And more or less that is the reason we have an employee that can work with that annually and throughout the whole process, which of course enables us to have a board and the members that can work more strategically and not to be that focused on the administrative part of organizing our events and how we want to evolve. So except for that, there's a lot of judicial and legal requirements, of course, handling that big money that goes on the organization itself. We also have to have authorized revisors that look over our whole organization so that we can stay legal, of course. So it enables us, of course, to be able to offer, for example, travel reimbursements for our members and our regional boards, our NC board members for their representation on our events, but also events abroad. For example, me being right now at the President's meeting in Portugal is wholly funded by my NC. And so for other NCs around of Europe, I think it's very different in how you could get those kind of governmental funding and grants. I would say to look into it if there is a possibility to get some kind of help from your government. I think also the requirements are very different. And of course, bearing in mind that that kind of investment will take a lot of time and a lot of resources. So having a long-term strategy on how to take care of it and what is of course required from the NC that goes into that kind of process. I would say use the network, use the opportunities you have with stakeholders, with policymakers, politicians that you get in touch with. Also, it doesn't have to be governmental. We also have funding in Sweden that is based on our counties or even municipalities for different regional organizations. Maybe there is a lower level funding that you can get as well that could be very high. So my greatest tip in that is just to look into what kind of opportunities you have in your region or in your country. And maybe even there is funding for bigger like transnational regional fundings with your neighboring countries, or project-based funding, of course. So yes.